Well, here we are at the 1-year mark since Equifax had the most unbelievable, rotten, terrible, careless, clueless data breach in the history of the modern era. Roughly 150 million Americans have deep dive personal data that is forever out there and there for the asking, the buying by criminals with your social security number, many cases driver's licenses, credit card numbers. They got so much information on you, current addresses, past addresses, and this is the kind of experience over this last year that people kind of say, it's too big, it's too hard, I give up. Others have been very practical and taken steps over this past year to do what you can to protect yourself, to protect your personal information. Now, as for Equifax, basically nothing's happened to them. They have gotten away scot-free and they're still extremely profitable. A lot of people lost their jobs, but in terms of the company, they have suffered essentially no meaningful sanctions or penalties to speak of. And that's something I'm not even going to get into. It's something about modern life and the way politics work today in the United States. But as for you, the one good result that's come out of this, among others, is credit freezes, which is one of the best and most important things that you should do as a consumer. Credit freezes are going to be free in just a few weeks. So you will very easily be able to go on the websites of Equifax or their two competitors, TransUnion and Experian, and in just a couple of minutes, set up a lockdown of your credit known as a freeze. Once your credit is frozen, even if somebody uses stolen information to try to take over your identity, they can't do it in order to be able to buy things pretending they're you or obtain credit as if they're you, which is pretty much the nastiest part of identity theft. Now, there are millions of people who've done credit freezes since last year, but you have to pay. There's a pain point with that. But many, many millions more have not done credit freezes. I have a credit freeze guide at Clark.com that'll walk you through how to do it, how to protect yourself. And I want you to know there are other steps I want you to take, though, before you freeze your credit. I'd like you to set yourself up on a website called Credit Karma or Credit Sesame or Credit, or all three, where you have the ability to monitor what's going on with your credit, have a reasonable approximation of your credit score, and all this information is available to you for free at these websites. So you do that. If you are past age 50, I want you to set up a My Social Security account where you're able to monitor that nobody is impersonating you with the Social Security Administration and trying to get your benefits. And you do those things first before you set up credit freeze. So once your credit's frozen, you can't do any of those things unless you go back and thaw it. The irony of credit freeze, based on the calls I've received from people over the last year, is the number one complaint I've had is someone will be in a store and they want to get instant credit and they can't because their credit's frozen. And they gripe at me and they complain to me. And after they've had their piece, I then say this: it's actually an advantage when you can't make an impulse decision to buy something on store credit. We have a truck going by right now. Give me just a second. Very loud truck. Anyway, with the instant store credit is really bad for your credit profile. It often will get you into debt, potentially at extremely high interest rates, usually 25 to 30% interest, sometimes higher. And so store credit is junk credit. The fact that it slows you down, you have to think about a purchase, you might pass on it later, keep money in your pocket instead of buying something that on reflection, maybe you didn't need it so much. It's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. You know, this is just one chapter in the ongoing battle to protect your and my identity, our privacy, and our personal information. And now you should know that the most important things for you to do is go to Clark.com/Equifax. Look at the steps I want you to do step by step to protect your identity, to protect that of your children, and do what you can to keep yourself as safe as possible from people who mean you harm.